Hello students, this is Ujjwala Bhandiwad, lecturer from KLS Gokte PU College of Commerce and Science, Belagavi. Today, I begin with the third chapter, that is data structures. Data means any raw facts that can be calculated and stored in the computer. For example, consider student name, student registration number, etc. This data undergoes some processing and then converted into the proper information. To undergo the processing, the data should be first organized in a particular way. This organization of data, we call it as data structure. So, data structure is defined as it is a specialized format for organizing and storing the data. Computer memory basically stores the data which is required for a processing, and this procedure is known as data representation. The study of data structure deals with three important points, that is, number one, logical or mathematical description of the structure. Second thing is implementation of a structure on a computer. Third thing is analysis of structure, which includes determining amount of space in the memory and the time taken for the processing. The data structure is classified as shown in the diagram here. Basically, it is classified into two categories: primitive data structure and non-primitive data structure. Primitive data structure is again divided into four types: integer, floating point, character, and pointers. These data types you might have learnt in the C++ last year. In a non-primitive data structure, it is classified as arrays, list, and files. Arrays are again classified into three types: single dimension or one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, multi-dimension array. List is further divided into linear data structure, non-linear data structure. The linear data structure is again divided into three types, that is stack, queue, linked list. Non-linear data structure is classified as trees and graph. Here this diagram is important, students. 1 mark question will be asked. Say for example, give an example for non-linear data structure. In that case, we should remember trees or graph. So this diagram we need to remember, so prepare this. Let us now introduce to the primitive data structures. The data structure that are directly operated by the machine level instructions are known as primitive data structures. The basic operations on a primitive data structures include: first one is create. Create operation is used to create a new data structure. Second operation is destroy. This operation is used to destroy or remove the data structure from the computer's memory space. Third operation is update. Update operation is used to change the data structures. Now let us learn what are non-primitive data structures. The non-primitive data structures are complex data structures. These are derived. Derived means these are obtained from primitive data structures. There are various operations on non-linear data structures. Let us learn one by one. First operation on a linear data structure include traversal. Traversal means the process of accessing each data item exactly once to perform some operation is known as traversing. Means imagine we have a list of items, data items, and we need to access each item once. That procedure we call it as traversing. Second operation is insertion. The method of adding a new data item into the collection of data item is known as insertion. Means already we have some items with us, data items. In that again additionally we are adding one more item. That procedure we call it as insertion. Third operation on a linear data structure is deletion. The process of removing the existing data item is known as deletion. Next operation will be searching. Searching means what? The method of finding the location of data item is known as searching. Means we have several data items with us. In that we need to find a specific data item. That procedure we call it as searching. Sorting. Sorting means we have to arrange the data items in some particular way. Actually there are two methods to arrange the items. One is ascending order, second one is descending order. In this diagram we can see here that items A, B, C, D are arranged in ascending order and descending means D, C, B, A. Last operation on a linear data structure is merging. Merging means the process of combining the data items into a single data structure. Means many data items are available. Those we are combining into one group, that is called as merging. Now let us introduce with the arrays. In the last class we have learned a brief introduction about arrays. We just recall that. An array means a collection of elements with some name to it. So before we go into the definition, we begin why we require an array. Let us consider here one example. In C++, we have declared one variable, say for example A, and we are storing the value 10 into it. Here we have declared it as int A is equal to 10. Here the variable A stores the value 10. Here only one value we are storing in the variable. Suppose we want to store 100 values, 1000 values into the variable, then what is the solution? See, in that case, we have to create 1000 variables or we have to create 100 variables. to store such values. For example, consider here one student, and student has scored marks in 6 subjects: subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4 and subject 5, subject 6. To store these values, look at here left side, we have taken here 6 variables. Int x is equal to 72, int y is equal to 56, int w is equal to 64, int p is equal to 82, int z is equal to 90, int q is equal to 85. All these x, y, w, p, z, q are the variables which stores the value. So totally 6 values we need to store, and hence we are creating 6 variables. This is not the correct method. Hence we use an array. So what is the correct method? For that purpose, we should create one array. Say for example, here I have created array as stud. In the bracket, we have declared it as 6. Means this 6 indicates the size of the array. Size means total values we are storing in the array is 6. So once we store the 6 values, it is shown in this diagram. In this way, the data will be stored. So now let us define what is an array. An array is a collection of homogeneous elements with unique name, and elements are arranged one after another in adjacent memory locations. Here very important thing is, an array contains homogeneous elements. Homogeneous means all the elements should be of the same data type. In the earlier example, we have seen student marks. All the marks values are of the type integers. So all the marks were belonging to integer data type. It means all of them are homogeneous in nature. They belongs to same data type. Once we create an array, all the elements are stored in a continuous memory locations. Basically, arrays are classified into 3 different types. So, for the syllabus, you have 3 different types of arrays. First one is single dimensional array or one dimensional array. Next is 2-dimensional array, and third one is multi-dimensional array. Let us learn a one-dimensional array in brief. An array with only one row or a column is called as a one-dimensional array. I repeat, an array with only one row or a column is called one-dimensional array. Here, elements are stored in a continuous memory locations. It is declared as shown here. First, it begins with the data type, followed by the array name, in the bracket size, and ending with the semicolon. Data type means it can be integer, float, character, anything. Array name means name of the array, and size specifies how many elements we want to store in the array. For example, suppose I declare here integer a of 5, which means that name of the array is a. It belongs to the integer data type and have totally how many values? 5 values in it. This is shown in the diagram here. We can see all the elements are stored in a continuous memory locations, means one after another they have stored. Always the first position in the array begins with a 0. It is known as index or subscript. The features of one-dimensional array are: the array size should be positive number only. Size cannot be given in the negative value. Array elements always counted from 0 to n minus 1. N means number of elements. It always begins with the 0. This 0 indicates subscript or it indicates index. Means the position of the element begins with the 0. Now, let us recall today's chapter by having some few question and answers. So first question is, what is data structure? Answer is, data structure is a specialized format for organizing and storing the data. Second question is, differentiate between one-dimensional and two-dimensional array. One-dimensional array stores the elements in the continuous block of memory, whereas two-dimensional array stores the elements in a table-like a format. In a tabular format. It stores the data in a tabular format. Okay. Mention any two examples for non-primitive data structures. For this purpose, we need to remember the diagram of classification of data structure. The non-primitive data structure include arrays, list as well as files. Next question, one more question is, define an array. Array is a collection of homogeneous elements. Homogeneous means similar elements with unique name, and elements are arranged one after another in a adjacent memory location. Adjacent means one after another continuous memory locations. Final question is, how are arrays classified? We can see that arrays are classified into three different types. That is, one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and multi-dimensional array. So in the next class, we learn what are the various operations we can perform in the array. For example, it is inserting an element, deleting an element, searching an element. All these things we have to learn with the help of algorithm and with the help of examples. So we concluded this class with the introduction of arrays. Thank you.